guys, it's Stephanie from My Porch Prints. Welcome back. Today we're going to be making this Christmas clutch file box. This is just a fun little project from a kit in our Etsy shop, and I'll put a link to this kit down below. But it's basically just a cute little kind of clutch purse style box with these sweet little Christmas files inside. So we're going to go ahead and print this out and cut it and get it put together. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is locate our box pieces, and we're going to create our Christmas clutch box. So to begin with, we're going to find these two pieces, and we're going to use this tab here and just glue these together like this. Just like that. And just make sure that things are right side up. So we should have this larger piece and this red piece and then this other larger piece and then finally this small rectangle at the top. So that's how the order it should be in, just so you don't glue something upside down. And then we're going to flip this over and we're going to glue our green pieces on the back. And you can see that there's one that's slightly larger than the other ones, just a little bit taller. And that one is going to go on this larger piece here on the bottom. And you can see you've got your tab here in the middle. So this piece will go here, and then this smaller piece will be covering up that tab at the top. And the reason that we have this instead of just printing on the back is because the 2-ply cardstock will give your box a little bit of weight and thickness. Alright, and I'm going to set that aside for a moment and give it just a minute to dry, and I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And if you don't have a scoreboard, that's fine, you can just fold on the lines, but this helps to make the fold a little bit more neat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to locate these black lines, and I'm going to go ahead and just score along those, and that's where our box will fold. Okay, and now we're just going to fold along those scores. Okay, and this should give us our clutch shape. You can see it's kind of like a triangle. And then we're gonna go ahead and add these button closures. Now, I gave you 2 button closures with this, so that if you want, you can put one here and one here, and then wrap a string around it to close it if you want to. But I think I'm going to do it a little bit more simply, and I'm just going to add 1 button, and then it's going to be kind of like a false closure. It won't actually do anything. It'll just be there for looks. And then I'm going to use Velcro dots to close mine. I like that idea. And you can decorate your box as well. You can add any of the pieces from the kit to it if you want to, and just, you know, kind of decorate it however you like, or you can leave it plain. It's up to you. Just for time's sake, I'm going to leave mine plain. But you could also add a little bit of lace under here to give it a nice kind of pretty look. I might do that later on. And you could add some metal corners, things like these, if you want to the bottom. So anything you want to do to dress up your box, get creative. But for now, let's go ahead and just add this closure. So these come with a little dot in the center to show you where to punch a hole if you're going to be attaching it with a brad, which I'm going to be doing. And I'm just going to punch that out with my micro punch. And if you want to get a punch like this with a small punch, you can check out our link down below to our Amazon influencer shop. We've got links to all the products that we use. But you could also just use a needle or an awl or whatever you have on hand. And then I've got these little brad fasteners. I'm just going to use this to attach it. And again, you can use a tape measure or something to measure where the center is. I'm just going to kind of use my eyes to determine it. Maybe a little off, but hopefully this will be close. I'm gonna mark that little hole that we made. And again, I'll just punch it out. And we'll attach this. Now, if you wanted to, you could do this part, where's my hole? There we go. Before you add the green inner lining, I guess I would call it, because this is going to show this brad right here if I don't cover it up with something. So if you did this before you attach the green inner lining, you could just cover it up with that. That's up to you. Okay, now we got this cute little kind of faux closure here. And I'm gonna grab some Velcro dots. And I've got this side's clear and this side's kind of white. I'm just going to stick them together like this. And I'm gonna put the clear side here just because when you open it, you know, I don't wanna see it right there. And I'm gonna put the kind of white side up top. I can remember which is which. And this is the white side. Okay. So I'm gonna stick my Velcro dot here. I'm going to make this nice and tight and line it up really well before I stick this on. There we go. And then I'm just gonna press really hard and hopefully those will stick and we'll have a little Velcro closure, just like that. Okay, so now we've got our box and we can start on our cards. Okay, so the box comes with these file cards. That's what I'm calling them. And they're basically just like these 3 different card shapes. You've got a big rectangle, medium, and then a square one. And they come with these tabs on the bottom. So I've printed these, and before you cut them out, you're supposed to print on the back. And I did that with these 2, and then I forgot to do it with the rest of them. So these are just white on the back, but ideally you should print on the back before you cut them out, and that will give you some decoration on the back as well. And so what I did was I just scored along this tab and folded it. And I did that for all these. And I don't know how many I've printed of these. There's probably like, you know, I don't know, 8 here or something like that. And then a few here, maybe like 4. And then I also printed a few of these square pieces. I don't have a set number for you. I just thought I would print, you know, a few of each so that I can fill up my box. But you know, if you're like, oh, I don't even want to use those rectangles or those squares or whatever, you can just print one set. You can print as many as you want. It's totally up to you. But I just printed a few off so that I could start doing the project. So ideally, these are going to go inside of our box, you know, where that kind of cut line is. That's where these are going to get glued. And then when we close our box, they'll be inside of there. And they'll be kind of stuck down so that we can flip through them, but they won't be removable. So that is the plan. So to begin with, we're gonna go ahead and decorate some of these. Okay, so the kit includes a lot of fun little decorative pieces. We've got some cool little images and words. And then we've got some smaller pieces for decorating and some even smaller pieces and some little words. And then we also have some tabs for putting on top of our files or on the side of our files, wherever you want to put them. And I went ahead and printed these on sticker paper and I cut them out using my CRICUT. And if you want to know how to do that, I've got a tutorial for how to fussy cut on CRICUT. I'll link it down below for you. But you will need to convert your PDF files to JPEG files before you can do that. And you can search online for PDF to JPEG converter, and you should find some really good, easy options. You basically just drop the PDF file and it will spit out JPEG files for you. So it's not too hard. And I cut these on my CRICUT as well, just because they're really tiny and cutting out tiny pieces can be tough. But some of these I just hand cut as well. So let's go ahead and start decorating our cards. So I'm thinking I'll use the larger cards in the back of the file and then smaller and then the square ones in the front. That's kind of the plan. I may mix and match them. I'm just not sure yet how I want to do it. But again, I printed on the back of some of these and not on others, so I may have to figure that out as we go. But to begin with, you can use some of these large images on here if you want to. You can also, like, you know, round your corners or ink your edges using distress ink if you want to. There's a lot of options here. I'm thinking I might sew around the edges when I get done decorating. I talk about that a lot, but I never actually do it because it takes a little extra work, but it can look really cool. So I may end up doing that too. But let's go ahead and just start decorating and see what happens here. Okay, so I finished all of my cards, and now we're gonna go ahead and put them in the box. So to do that, the box has this front panel. So this is the front of the box. And then right here is this, it's this one right here. And you can see it's got this crease where the two pieces are joined together. So that might help you when you're looking at the whole thing. Sometimes it's easy to forget what's what. So we'll be gluing here. And like I said, I'm gonna start with the larger pieces in the back and then move to the smaller cards and then the small square ones in the front. And I may vary them. I'm gonna see how I like it. But that's the plan for now. So I'm going to go ahead and fold on this tab right here, this green stripy tab right here at the bottom. And I'm going to line the back of my card up with the back. And you can see again that I didn't print on some of the back of these. I didn't even decorate a lot of the back of these just to save time. But you can decorate the back of yours if you want. So what I want to do is apply glue to the bottom of my tab, the side that isn't green. And I'm going to line it up with the back of my box right here. And center it so that it's exactly in the center. And then I'm just going to glue that tab down, and that leaves this card free to kind of move back and forth. And then I'm just going to repeat that process with the next card and the next card. And what you can do if you want is overlap these tabs a little bit so that the cards are touching, or you can space it out if you don't have very many cards, if you only did a few, so that there's a gap between them. It's really up to you how big of a gap you want between your cards. Just make sure you've got enough space for all of them. And again, I'm just going to apply glue to the bottom of the tab and center it and just glue it down. And now the smallest ones. And as you can see, I've got about this much space left before I hit the front of my box. So I want to be mindful of that as I'm gluing these in. I may need to tighten them up a little bit. And you can see I am moving them off from the center just to add some visual interest. Okay, and I think I am going to be running out of room here for all of these cards, so I may not be able to fit them all in. I probably should have made them a little tighter at the beginning. But that's okay. Okay, and then once your glue gets a little bit drier, you might want to bend these forward just a little bit. It may help things lay a little more evenly. And you see I had quite a bit of space in between some of these where I could have put them a little bit closer and maybe made room for a few more cards. So just something to think about as you're assembling this. But let's see how we did. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the large cards. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the medium cards. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the square small cards. Okay, so here we have our finished box. Let's go ahead and just take a quick look inside. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this project. Hope you remember to subscribe to our channel because we do have occasional freebies. We have lots of junk journal and craft tutorials. And don't forget to like this and leave us a comment below if you think you're going to try this project. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.